This webinar provides you with a brief overview of what a strategy model is. The details of how to build one are contained in the modules which follow. Overall, the concept is this. We need to take a look at a broader perspective on how our organizations perform than just the financial view that most organizations currently have. In fact, in the private sector, there are 4 views that we need to take a look at. The first is financial. What are our financial objectives and how well are we achieving those? Second is customer. What are our customer needs and how well we're fulfilling them? Third is internal. What are internal processes and how well are they performing? And then finally, enablers. What are the foundational elements of the business, the competencies, culture, and enabling structures which allow us to succeed? And a strategy model takes your existing strategy and draws it across these 4 perspectives. So if we take an example of an airline, say WestJet or Southwest, overall, their view might be about ownership of the airline. If we take a look at their financial objectives, they might say something like our overall objective is to have, more customers on fewer planes. So as a strategy model, we'd note down those objectives as follows. Our theory is if we had more passengers, that would lead to increased profitability, or if we had fewer planes, that would lead to increased profitability, or ideally, both of those things. How do we get there? Well, if you did some focus group work, you might find that there's a customer segment that's looking for low ticket price and on-time arrivals. So our theory would continue to say if we could offer more on-time flights, that would lead to more passengers, or if we could offer a lower ticket price than the competition, that would also lead to more passengers, which in turn leads to better profitability. Now, ideally, we should be able to achieve all 3 of these objectives. And how would we do that? Well, maybe in this example, we're going to focus on faster turnaround time. How can we get the plane from the time it lands back in the air with new passengers as quickly as possible? In theory, if I could cut that down by, say, 30 minutes, that would save me buying new airplanes because I just freed up 30 minutes of capacity every time that airplane lands. And so if I could have a faster turnaround time, it means I could operate with fewer planes, which would help increase profit. It also means because I have fewer planes, I could offer a lower ticket price or generate increased margins to attract more passengers. Or finally, if I had that fast turnaround time, it means even if I land late, there's a better chance I can get that airplane back in the air on time to attract more customers and increase profitability. And how do we get there? Well, maybe we'll educate and compensate people for process redesign with a bias towards cycle time reduction. That will give us the faster turnaround time, which will in turn lead to more on-time flights, lower ticket price, fewer planes, and better profitability. So this is a strategy model that describes our strategic objectives in a way that people can understand what are those objectives and how do they contribute to success. The second step we're going to go do is weight these objectives. If this is 100% of your strategy, we should be able to allocate that 100% based on our focus for this year or this quarter, based on the economy, our competition, our various strengths and weaknesses, and so forth. And so in this example, I might give a high weighting to fast turnaround time and on-time flights. Maybe last year, I had a higher focus on process redesign. Instead of 15, maybe it was 50%. But based on that success, I can now shift my focus up here, and in the fullness of time, would hopefully see financial results from that great performance. So that's a strategy model. It's important to note that strategy models exist at many levels in the organization. In this example, we've seen sort of the corporate level strategy map, but you can cascade that down to different departments or regions or brands and begin to explore how each of those contributes to success. So in this example, I have an objective like fast turnaround time, and if I take a look at, say, maintenance, their role in fast turnaround time might be to figure out how they can repair the airplanes by replacing parts, and hence shorten the amount of time it's idle on the tarmac. Maybe operations, their role is to figure out how they can cross-train everyone. So if my luggage handlers are sick, someone can go and cover for them. Sales, maybe their job is to make sure they attract the right customers. Because if we have someone expecting first class service, for example, they might be disappointed and cause a bottleneck. And then finally, service, maybe their contribution is enabling self-help. The net is, as we cascade the strategy map down, the objectives will change to describe the part of the organization that you're looking at. Now, that doesn't mean you need to necessarily start building this at the top of the organization. You can start anywhere because you already have those strategies and strategic expectations, and this becomes a service level between your department and the overall organization.